Okay, able to hear me? Fine. Okay, good evening, morning, good afternoon, from wherever you joined. So welcome for attending this webinar, Project Management Basics, Agile Basics, Agile Tool Basics we'll be seeing on Jira and Azure DevOps. So the first two sessions will be taken by me, so the Project Management Basics and the Agile Basics. So the general instructions, all of your mic and camera is switched off, and so you can raise any of your questions in the chat window. And so during the Q&A, so you'll be able to unmute and ask questions. And if there are, because of time constraints, if there are any unanswered questions, we will update it and send it to your email. And we are recording this session, and we will share this session in another 24 to 48 hours. Okay. Jump into the session. So we will speak and going to see about the project management basics. First, you'll see about project. So what is a project? So project is nothing but it's a temporary endeavor, which is having a definite start and end. And it creates a unique product or service or a result. So the temporary means that it has a it is short in duration. So any project, if you take it, is works on a shorter period of time, and it has a definite start and end. And creates a unique product or service. So if you see any project or any product, so some uniqueness will be there, maybe on the location or on the environment or the design, so how it is working. So you can find out some difference between each and everything. So that is uniqueness. Okay, so the project is a temporary endeavor with a beginning and an end, and it creates a unique product, service, or a result. So the examples that you can see about a project is projects are road projects, bridge construction projects, IT projects, development of some software tools, event projects, and process improvement and new product development. So there are not only this, so many other examples also you can take. So we saw about project. Now, what is the major difference between projects versus operations? Okay, so projects are unique and temporary. So we already saw. So projects are unique and temporary, whereas operations are ongoing. So any type of work that you do, so those are ongoing and it is repetitive. So any type of maintenance work, shutdown related works, all these are repetitive. So the same type of work you may be continuing to do. So that shows it is ongoing and repetitive. Okay, but the common things that is between the projects and the operations are both are performed by people, and it's constrained by limitations. So, so either to do project or operations, you need resources. That is, people has to perform the project as well as people has to perform the operations, and these are constrained by limitations. So you may be having resource constraints, material constraints, equipment constraints, or environment constraints. So those constraints need to be considered while doing projects as well as operations, and the both are planned, executed, and controlled. So whether you're doing project as or operations, so in that particular case, you need to plan. So what you're going to do. So what is the scope that I'm going to do? What is the design? So that you will be doing the plan, and then based on the plan, you'll be executing, and then simultaneously you'll be doing the controlling part also. We'll see about project management. So we saw about project, the difference, the major difference and comparison between project and operations. Now about project management. So project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet the project requirements. So it's nothing but the application of knowledge. So knowledge is something what we gain by learning or by experience or anything. So we gain the knowledge, and by gaining knowledge, after gaining the knowledge, so you'll be performing. So the knowledge what you gain, so based on the knowledge you perform for that particular activity, and also you use different tools and techniques, the various methods and mechanisms that you can use to execute that project activities. Okay, so that is the knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet the project requirements. So the client might have given the requirements of the project, what need to be done. So what is the outcome that they are expecting? So that type of that outcome that you will be giving based on the requirement. Okay, so the main thing is the requirement need to be met and not the expectation. So in project management, if you see, so it is also called as triple constraints. So where the scope, time, and cost, you can see. So anything that changes, the other also will get changed. So scope, time, and cost are interrelated. So if you change the scope, the time gets changed, and if you change the time, the cost gets changed. And in between, if any time gets changed, the other thing also gets affected. The project managing a project. So the main things that to manage a project is you identify the requirement, so you address the needs. So what the customer is giving, so you identify that particular requirement, what is the scopes, all these informations that you identify, and you address what are the different concerns and expectations of stakeholders, the various different stakeholders, internal stakeholders, external stakeholders. You identify their needs, concerns, and expectations, and address those requirements, and then actively collaborate and communicate. So each and everything is what you're doing. So from the starting till the end of the project, so what are the things that you're carrying out? What is you're doing in planning? What are the design? So all these things you do an effective communication and collaboration between the stakeholders and better communication with the client. So the better understanding of the project and delivery of the project can be done. And then identify and balance the completing project constraints. So in between the projects, you may be getting various different constraints. So you identify the constraints very early and find out the various different mechanisms to manage those constraints. And so any risk that you identified, how best that you can manage the risk. So those things you can find out and update it and successfully complete the project on time within the budget and the scope. So we saw a little bit about project management and about project and operations. I will see a little bit about program management and portfolio management. Okay, so program is a group of related projects. So the different group of related projects managed in a coordinated way to obtain the benefits. So it's not managing individual projects, so you're managing group of related projects. So that is, if bridge construction is happening, so the related works that are under that particular bridge. So that sub projects. So those things that you will be considering, and those are the related projects, so that you'll be taking and that you're managing. So that is the program. So program management is managing the interdependencies between the projects is called the program management, and the achieving the program objectives. So the interdependencies, so after completing one project, you'll be starting the next project, or in between a particular phase of the project is completed, the next project gets started. So those things you'll be identifying. So that is the program management. Whereas in portfolio, so portfolio is a collection of projects, programs, and other works to meet the strategy business objectives. So the business objectives that is given by the owners, the organization. So to achieve that, you collect the projects, programs, and other works, and work together to achieve the objectives. And the portfolio management is the centralized management of the collection of programs and portfolios to achieve the organizational goals. Okay, so that is the portfolio management. So let's see a small the relationship of program, portfolio, and project. So at the top, you see the enterprise. So that is nothing but the organization level. So the organization will have various different portfolios, and some portfolios will directly have programs, and some other portfolios will have sub-portfolios and then programs, and each program will have projects under that, and projects may have sub-projects also. Okay, so this is the relationship of organization project portfolio management. So you can see with a small example. So in infrastructure related field, so wherein you can see that we have the roadways and railways as the portfolio, and under roadways you have bridges and flyover as the program, and under the bridges you have the different bridge constructions that you're doing. So that is the project. Whereas the flyover you're taking as the program, and the different flyovers, what you're doing, individual flyovers, you're taking as project. Whereas in railways, if you see, so that is the portfolio. And below that, the southern region and northern region are considered different programs. And you have another sub-portfolio as metro and another sub-portfolio as suburban works. So like this, you'll be able to manage it. Okay, so under the programs, you have projects, and under projects, you might have sub-projects. So for example, here, if you see the metro, so the C1 and C2, that is City 1 program, City 2 program. So in City 1, the Metro 2, Metro 1, Metro 2, Metro 3, and under Metro 1 project, you have Line 1 and Line 2, that is the sub-project. So this is how the relationship between project, program, and portfolio. Different way to see this, the project, program, and portfolio is, so at the top you have the organization which gives the vision, mission, and the strategic objective. And under that organization you have the portfolio, and under portfolio you have sub-portfolio, or the other works, the projects and the program. And under the program you have different projects and sub-program. In some cases you may be having sub-programs, and then under projects you have sub-projects. Okay. So if you see at the top level, the organization level, so it is called the strategy level. So where the strategic decisions, everything is being taken, the strategic objectives, whether it is met or not. So those will be measuring there. And at the portfolio level, you'll be measuring the benefits. So what are the benefits that you're getting out of the projects, programs, and other works, whatever you're doing. So that benefits, that is called the benefits level, where you'll be measuring the benefits. And at the lower level, you have that is the delivery level, whereas the projects and the programs, that deliver different stages. So that shows the delivery level. Okay. I will go a little bit about the project and the development life cycle. So the different project and development life cycle. So the first one is the predictive life cycle or the fully plan driven life cycle. So in the predictive or the fully plan driven life cycle, so that scope, time, and cost are clearly defined in this early stages of the project life cycle. So so in IT terms, if you say, so it is also called as the waterfall methodology. So that is the predictive life cycle. So where you define clearly at the early stages of the project life cycle the scope, time, and cost. So you do the analyzing phase first, then you go to the design, then build, then test, and then you do the delivery. And the next type of life cycle is the iterative life cycle, where the scope is defined in the early stages, but the time and cost are modified or routinely modified based on the prototype or the early delivery of the feature what you are developing. Okay, so you can see the same analyze, design, and where you prepare the prototype, and in the build test you refine it and then deliver it. So in the next stage, you will be having another time and the cost that will be different. in the incremental life cycle, so the development is produced through a series of iterations. So the series of iterations, so you do the various iterations and you add functionality as and when that is required. So you do the analyze, design, build, test, and then once again you do the analyze, build, design, build, test, and then analyze, design, build, test. So the so for each iteration, what you're doing, so the duration might differ. So this may be 1 month, this may be 3 months, this may be 4 months, so like that, based on the functionality what you're going to do. So based on that, the iteration size, that is the time that differs. Okay, and the next thing is the adaptive life cycle. So adaptive is I think, but so you might have be hearing, and many are following nowadays, and mostly followed in the IT segment. So that is the change driven or the agile methodology. That is the adaptive life cycle. So where we have two different life cycles. One is the iteration based agile, so which is time boxed. So each and every box is measured with the same time. Okay, and at the end of each thing, each box, you will do the feature. Okay, so the tested feature is delivered. So at the end of each iteration, so the iteration, each and every box, the iteration remains the same. So you might be deciding on 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. So the iteration is running from 2 to 4 weeks. In the flow-based agile, the time is decided on based on the feature. So the work in process limits, so you decide on the work in process. So how many features that you're going to do. So based on that, you will fix the time. Okay, so how many features that you're going to do, so that till that feature you fix the time. So it may be, this may be 1 month, this may be 3 months, and this may be 2 months. So like that, you will decide on different things, and you will decide on which feature that you're going to do. So that is, this is the adaptive life cycle, where we see the two different things, iteration and flow based. And finally, we see the hybrid methodology. So hybrid methodology is, so you combine both agile as well as predictive. So agile development is followed by the predictive rollout, or a combined agile and predictive approach. So, so wherever you need, so you use the agile methodology, otherwise you follow the predictive approach. And other two are, one is largely predictive approach with the agile components, and the other one is largely agile approach. So wherever you need it, in between the project, you use the predictive methodology. So the predictive or waterfall, so the same thing what you're seeing, so that so you're seeing like this. So this is called the waterfall methodology. So where the requirements, design, implementation, verification, maintenance, so everything is done in an order. So once you finish the requirements, then you come to design. Then after that, you come to implementation. So after implementation, you go to verification. And the final product is received at the end of the verification stage. So that is the final release or the final product what you are getting. So the delivery of the value is at the end. So the project management process groups, if you see, so there are 5 different process groups. So that is initiation to closure. So initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and control, and the closure. Okay, so in initiation, you decide what are the different things that you're going to do. So the design, everything that you will do, and then based on that, you plan for that particular project. So you do the full planning. So the project plan. So based on the project plan, you'll be doing the execution, and the successful completion, you will be doing the closures. And the monitoring and the controlling, you will be doing from the initiation stage till the closure stage. So whatever you need to monitor and control, so that you'll be doing it from the initiation stage till the closure stage. We see about the performance domains. So the performance domains, so there are 8 different performance domains, so which are important for the project or the product. So the domains are the areas of focus for delivering the projects. They occur throughout the project lifecycle, and they are outcome focused. Okay, so the outcomes are different from the outputs. So for example, if we have a performance domain around effective interaction with the stakeholders, so we'd like to want to know the outcome associated with that. So one outcome may be called the maybe satisfied stakeholders. So satisfied stakeholders, how you will measure. So you can measure with surveys or observing relationships, interactions, etc. So using that, you will measure it. So that is the outcomes where the output will give you the input for the outcomes. Okay. Project delivery principles. So in project delivery principles, so it has got 12 project delivery principles, so which are mainly needed for the successful completion of the project. So mainly the 5 process groups are being replaced with the project delivery principles. And this guides the actions and the behaviors of the project practitioners, what they are going to do. Okay. So they follow the independent and the development approach, so which completes correctly. So that is about the basic on project management. So the other methodologies, so the Project Management Institute, so what we saw till now, so that is based on the Project Management Institute, that is the PMI, Project Management Institute's framework. And the other things that are available are the critical change, so which mainly focuses on the buffers, that is the project buffer, resource buffer, or the task buffers. IPMA is the International Project Management Associates, so they develop the project management standards based on the particular country where they are working on. So they develop the standards and help to execute the project. And the BRM is the benefit relationship management. So that process groups are mainly aligned to aligning, consulting, enabling, servicing, and evolving. So those are the things. And Prince 2 is projects in controlled environment. So that is called as Prince 2. So mostly used in European and UK. And so they this mainly concentrate towards the outcomes and not the outputs. So this has got 7 principles, 7 processes, and 7 themes. So this is the basic training that we have. So on the introduction, so the on project management basics, we give what are methods, methodologies, and the different frameworks that are associated, and then we'll see about the project portfolio management in detail, the project management life cycle, the organization structure, PMO, that is a project office, to do the critical path method, the network diagram, critical path PDM analysis, and then the different frameworks. So the basics of the different frameworks, what the different frameworks, principles, process, and other things that are showing in the each and different frameworks. Also, we'll see about the value stream management, how to analyze the values. So those things we'll be analyzing, and we're finishing with the sample case study from initiation to the closing, and the introduction for project management tools, the career path that you can take it in project management. So what are the different career paths and the career guidelines? So all these things that will be added. So these are our training programs. And any questions? We have 5 minutes. So if you have any questions, you can take it. Everyone's mic is on, so if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat, or you can raise the question by unmuting the mic. questions or any feedback? No questions, you can put it in the chat also if you have anything. Okay, so there's a question that PM and P6 job for fresher, how much salary for fresher? So that depends on the company to company. So based on which company that you're going through, so for that, so the salary will be fixed. So we cannot compare anything. So you can check the sites like Glassdoor and PMI to find out the different salary structures. So different companies pay for different experience categories.
So in Azure is just the most well-known containerization runtime tool. It's not. Yeah.
Can you repeat your questions? I can't hear you. Okay, so if there are no other questions, we'll go to the next session. Okay, so next is on the Agile Basics. So we saw the project management basics. Now we'll see about the Agile Basics. So Agile, it was formally introduced in 2001. So the 17 people gathered in Utah, so for a get together, and they developed the Agile Manifesto. So at the end of the session, so they discovered something and they developed the Agile Manifesto. So from that, the Agile methodology got popular and people started using the Agile methodology, and mostly in IT organizations, you can see the Agile methodology being followed. And so in the Agile practice, so if you can see the main thing that is being used is the iteration. So you do the things in an iteration or a sprint. So both are the same. So iteration or a sprint. In Scrum, the cycles are called as sprints for the development and the testing. So the same things are adaptive life cycle, what we saw earlier. So attended the project management webinar. So the same thing. So what we saw there. So the iteration based life cycle. So where the time box is fixed. So at each time box, we fix it as 2 to 4 weeks. Duration. So in the 2 to 4 weeks, you decide, so what are the different features that you're going to do in each and every iteration. So in each iteration, you do the requirements analysis, design, build, and test. And finally, so you do a system demo and you release it. So after 2 or 3 iterations, or after 2 or 3 sprints, you will be doing the release. Okay. So the Agile Manifesto, so what they developed, so the Agile Develop Manifesto, what it says is individuals and interactions over process and tools. So if you see the project management methodology, so where we saw the process and tools are given more importance. So whereas here, say give more importance to individuals and interactions over the different process and tools. So the process and tools are also important. So you're not rejecting that or not utilizing that. So you're still utilizing, but more importance is given to the individuals and the team members and how they are interacting. So what is their need? So all these things that you are giving more importance than the process and tools. And the next manifesto shows about the working software over comprehensive documentation. So you give more importance to the working software than documentation. So if you see in most of the projects where the documentation is given more importance, like the detailed documentation. So the Agile Manifesto says if you prepare a detailed documentation and if the software is not working, so then it is not going to help out. So more concentration towards the working software, so how the software is going to work. So whether the software delivery is successful, and prepare the documentation to what is needed. So to that particular stage, so what is needed, you prepare the documentation. Okay, and not a detailed documentation is required. And then the third one is the customer collaboration over contract negotiation. So here also the contract negotiation is required, but it gives more importance to customer collaboration. So in most of the cases, if you see, the customer collaboration is done at different phase points or phase gates at that particular thing. So here, the customer collaboration, so they give the importance on the customer collaboration on a daily basis. So as and whenever that is required, so you collaborate with the customer, find out the requirements. So what are the features, what are the outcomes that they need, so whether it is running as per the plan, so that customer collaboration is given more importance than the contract negotiation. And then the final thing is the responding to change over following a plan. Okay, so in the waterfall and the predictive methodology, so you're more rigid towards following a plan. So you prepare the project plan at the starting of the project, and based on the plan, you'll be doing all the work and any changes that are coming. So that will be taken by the change control board, and it has to go through various approvals and other things. So whereas here, you so whenever there is a change that is coming, so you discuss with the team. And whether you're doing iteration 5 or 6 or something, so during that time, any changes that are coming, so you discuss with the team and identify whether this change can be taken. So whether this change can be taken for this iteration or it can be taken in the next iteration. So you decide with the team and decide on including the change. So why the change need to be taken immediately or in the first iteration or the next iteration? Because the market is moving very fast, and based on the market segment, so what are the things that are changing? So whatever you're developing, so if it is absolute, so then you cannot, by doing the project, it's of no use. So based on that, so if your competitor is working on something else, and if you need to cope up with that, and you need to do some modifications, you need to include the change. So in that iteration or the next iteration, so based on the goals, what you have decided for that particular iteration, whether that can be modified to the next iteration, so that you will take up in that. So the final point is responding to change over following a project plan. We'll see a small scenario, two different scenarios. So with that, so if anyone is not heard of Agile, or anyone new of to identify the major difference, you will be able to analyze. So I have not taken IT example, anything. So just a small house construction. So a couple is staying in the rental apartments, 1-bedroom apartment. Okay, so they are planning to build a 3-bedroom house. So in planning, so what they do, so usually what you do, so you design the full house, and you come up with the scope, and you come up with the plan, and you think that you will be able to complete in 6 months. So you fix the time, cost, and then you identify any risks that are associated. So all these things you identify, and identify the resources and other procurement options. So that is what are the materials, equipment that is needed. So all these things that you will be identifying, and you'll be starting the work as per your plan. And during the actual case, in some after 2 or 3 months, you find out that the material cost is increased, resource cost is increasing, and you found out another design, and you need to incorporate that. So the change is happening, and the scope and time is getting affected, and there is some delay and many delays, and so what you initially planned, so the cost is getting increased, so you have to wait for some time, and the total project you got delayed by 6 more months, and you completed in 1 year instead of what you planned for 6 months. So whether you do it on 6 months or 1 year, so the value what you received is after 1 year or after 6 months, so not before that. And in this particular case, if you see, so he might have planned that after by the 7th month, he can go into his house and he can save on the rent. So that extra amount is also paid. So the value that what you're getting, so the output, what you can enter into the house, that is at the end of the house construction. So this is the classic example of a traditional methodology, or what it can be called as waterfall, or it is a predictive methodology. Next scenario, what we see, the same thing, same house construction, and the customer is living on a 1-bedroom apartment. So you want to construct a 3-bedroom house. So the same planning is doing, analyze cost which is available. And then based on the cost and time, so you fix for 2 months. And then so you're looking for building a 3-bedroom house. That is your high level design and plan. And then you prepare a short-term plan, or you call it as an iteration, or you call it as a sprint plan. So where you decide what you need. So for the amount what you have, and for the time what you have, so what can be done. So you come up with a scope based on what you have that. And for that you identify the risk, identify resources and other procurement options. Okay, and based on the planning, so you go with the actual. So during the actual time, so after some days or something, so you found out the same thing. So what you faced earlier in the predictive. So here also the material cost, resource cost, so some changes, everything is happening. So based on that, you're adjusting the design and other things. And so you planned for 2 months, but you got delayed by 1 month. So in this value, so you got a one-bedroom house. So you built a one-bedroom house, and you got the value for that at the end of month 3, and you saved nearly 9 months of rent. So with the one-bedroom, I'm staying in a one-bedroom apartment now. I built a one-bedroom house, and I moved into my one-bedroom house within 3 months. So that is a 1-month delay. So that in any case, you see, even in Agile also that may happen. And you saved 9 months of rent. Okay. And then you're increasing the value. So you do a next iteration or plan 2, then you do another lease or value, and you improve the house, and you make it as a 2-bedroom. And in plan 3, you make it as a 3-bedroom, and plan 4, you build another floor and you give it for rent. So this is a classic example of the Agile, and all 4 releases and project completed in 1 year, but you started realizing the value from month 3. Okay. So if you see the predictive method, where the project needs requirements are understood at the starting itself, and from there you're building the whole plan, and then you're going forward. So you build the plan from in the starting itself, and based on the plan, you're doing the execution. So any changes that are happening, so that has to go to various different change control board and the approval. So that gives some delay. Okay, and in Agile, so that is some modern approach. So where the team works collaboratively with the customer, and you determine the project needs as and when that is needed, and so you're frequently coordinating with the customer and the team, and so you're doing the work in an iterative fashion, and you're doing an incremental release. So Agile is an iterative and incremental methodology where you can add the things and do the work iteratively and release it on an incremental basis. So where you get the value at each and every stage instead of waiting till the end of the project. So whereas hybrid is a combined approach, so that uses a agile or predictive, or it is a combination of agile and predictive methodology. So as we saw earlier, the hybrid methodology in the project management webinar. So the hybrid methodology, so that shows whether so wherever that is needed, we can use agile methods, and wherever the predictive works, so there you can use the predictive works. Okay. So the traditional triangle looks like this, where the scope, time, cost are interdependent. Whereas in the agile triangle, so the schedules and cost are fixed, and you get the delivery based on how you fix the scope, and you get the quality, more quality than the traditional method. The different agile methodologies that are available are Scrum, Lean Software Development, Agile Unified Process, Disciplined Agile, and SAFe. SAFe is nothing but Scaled Agile framework. So not only this, there are various other different Agile methodologies are also available. So now we're seeing a little bit about the Scrum framework. So in Scrum framework, so what we have is we have the product owner. So the product owner, he develops the product backlog. So what are the things that you're going to do? So product backlog is nothing but the set of features that you're going to do in that particular project. And from that product backlog, you decide on which sprint, which feature has to go. So that you prepare the sprint backlog. You do the sprint planning and prepare the sprint backlog, and based on the sprint backlog, what you do, so first sprint backlog, that is sprint 1 or iteration 1 or sprint 2 or iteration 2. So the first iteration, if once you are doing it, so that execution, you're doing the sprint execution. And on a daily basis, you do a daily scrum. So daily scrum is just for 15 minutes. So in that 15 minutes, you decide, you meet with the team and find out what went well. So what you're going to do today and what improvements that you need to do. So those things that you will decide. So it is a 15-minute meeting daily. So where the team members will come together and find out. So if there are any impediments, how to remove the impediments. So all these things that will be identified. And so once sprint execution, and then you prepare a shippable product. So if it is a feature, so if it is a release, you will do a shippable product, and then you do a sprint review and sprint retrospective. Okay, so in the sprint review, you find out so what are the different features that are being built, and you do a system demo and find out whether that can be used by the customer and get the sign off from the customer. And in the sprint retrospective, you find the same like daily stand up. So you do it at the end of the sprint retrospective, you find out what went well, what went wrong, so what can be improved, so that for each and every sprint. And the same thing, you follow it up and you do with the improved methodology in the next sprint. So this cycle continues till all the features are being released. So this is a classic Scrum framework. And in the Scrum, you have the Scrum team. So in the Scrum team, so it comprises of 5 to 11 members. So which comprises of Scrum Master, Product Owner, and Development team. So the Scrum team comprises of 5 to 11 members, which are the members of Scrum Master, Product Owner, and the Development team. So the development team that comprises of developers, testers, quality professionals, the procurement people, the infrastructure people. So all these people will be together. So that is the development team. And the Scrum Master's main role is to remove the impediments. So keep the team moving forward. And if he or she finds out any impediments that is affecting the team from external factors or within this team itself. So that is the main role of the Scrum Master. And the product owner, so the product owner manages the all the features. So the product owner only prioritizes the product backlog. So that is which feature has to go first, which feature has to go next. Okay, and the product owner is a representative from the customer, and he has a frequent interactions with the stakeholders, the customers, everyone, and he finds out, so based on the market segment or anything, so what need to be prioritized based on that. So you prioritize, and that output that you'll be providing. Okay. And the business owners, so the Scrum Master, along with the Scrum Master and the product owner, the business owners also interact frequently as and when that is needed. And the team, the development team, which comprises of the developers, testers, infrastructure team, and other things. So they are self-organizing team. So from the feature, what is given by the product owner, so they develop, so what is needed from the user stories. So what user stories that they are going to do. So they interact each other and find out, and they self-organize within themselves and execute the work. Okay. So this is another way to show. So here you can see the product backlog. So that based on the sprint planning, what did you have? So you will do in the sprint backlog what you identified in the sprint backlog. So you execute the sprint, and then you do the sprint planning, and then you execute it, and then once again to the execution and planning. So that continues till all the releases, everything is done.
For an application.
Any questions? Any questions? So we'll continue. Okay, so then the incremental. So incremental release. So at the end of sprint 3, you do one release, and at the end of sprint 8, you do another release, and at the end of sprint 10, you do another release. So based on the features that are available, so together you combine and you give a release, so that you will be able to get the features available. So this may be having 5 different features. So the release 2 will be having 10 different features. Release 3 will be having some 20 different features. So this is the classic example. What you can take is about the Microsoft Edge. So after each month or at the end of 3 months, so they will do some release. Or you can see the example of Facebook. So Facebook, so each and every quarter they do a release. Okay, so that is a new feature that is coming in. And so another one is WhatsApp. So by each quarter they do some new releases. So based on the market segment, based on the user needs, they do the release. So that is the feature that is building based on the sprint, and they are releasing with the combination of sprint and the other features that they have built out. Okay. So in summary, the Scrum, you have the roles, the product owner, Scrum Master, and team. And the main artifacts what you manage is the product backlog. That is the overall level. So what are the different set of features that you're going to do? And the sprint backlog. So in the sprint backlog, you identify for that particular sprint, what are the features that you're going to do it, and the burn down charts and other things that you prepare to measure the progress and how the best, that you are utilizing the sprints and the velocity chart, everything that you'll be able to find out. And the meetings that you do it in Scrum or this sprint planning meetings. So at the starting of the sprint, you do the sprint planning and you develop the sprint backlog. And on a daily basis for 15 minutes, you do the daily stand-up meeting, or some called as daily stand-down meeting. So whichever is the best thing, so that that each and every team, Scrum team, will gather together for 15 minutes and decide so what to do, how to do, and what best can be given. And in the sprint review, that is at the end of the sprint, you will do the sprint review. So what features are being done, and you do a demo for that, and you release it if it is a combinedly that can be made as a release. Okay. So in the development hierarchy in Agile, so if you see, so that we have the epics, features, stories, and tasks. So epics are the high level work, so which are mainly focused towards the portfolio and the program level. And the epics are further broken down into features. So the epics comes from the initiations. So what are the initiatives that you are taking? And that high level work is called as the epic, or it can also be called as the high level combined features is called the epic. And from the epics, you break down into features. So the different features in a software tool or in any of the releases. So what is the feature? What are the features that you're going to do in that product or the solutions? And the features are further broken down into stories. So the combination of stories and features, you will get the releases. So the features are broken down into stories, and stories are further broken down into a smaller task, which can be managed individually. So that is the task, and the stories and task. So that is done by the team. So where you have the individuals and the interactions between them. So we saw about the project management in the project management webinar, and now in the Agile. So whether to go with the Agile approach or the waterfall approach. So how do you decide on that? So the x-axis shows the technology level. So whether it is certainty or uncertainty is more. And the y-axis shows the requirements, where the certainty is less or the certainty is uncertainty is and more. So based on that, so if the certainty of the technology and the requirements is very less, or this about this technology, so what are the technologies that you can use, and you're clear about the requirements, then you can go with the waterfall approach. And if something is getting complicated, so the requirements as well as the technology, so which technology to use, which infrastructure to use, so that is not clear and you need to decide on that. So then you'll be going with the agile approach. Okay. And so if it is more uncertainties toward the technology and more uncertainty on the requirements, then you go for a research and find out so what type of technology to use and how to fix the requirement, and then decide on whether to go with the waterfall or the agile approach. Okay. If you see about the agile scaling, so there are so what we saw till now is about the agile using the Scrum, so which manages which can be done by at the team level. So team level, how best you can manage it. So agile scaling deals with how you can best manage using enable you to adapt at the next level, like program portfolio. So at that level, so how best that you can use it so that you can make use of that. So the different methodologies and frameworks that are available are SAFe, that is called also called a scaled agile framework, and then the disciplined agile we have. So the scaled agile framework, so which combines the agile and the DevOps practices for the business agility. So development and operations thing, and it has got 4 configurations, that is full, large, portfolio, and the essential the team level. So the main thing that is done on the scaled agile is the PI planning. So where it is done 3 months once, and you decide what you are going to do for that. And then the next one is the disciplined agile. So in the disciplined agile, so that is based on the project management methodologies. So it has got 7 different principles. So that is managed. And in the large scale Scrum, so that is based upon working with 8 different people for 8 different teams. So like that, the large scale Scrum will be working. And the other methodologies and framework are Scrum at Scale and Enterprise Kanban. So Agile name game. Oh, sorry, we have only 1 minute, so we know this. So okay. So this is so usually we play this game to find out how multitasking is difficult. So at the end of this, we find out that the human brain does not multitask, and the focusing on single job at a time yields better quality and the better delivery. So if you see so you're trying to address all the customers at one single time, whereas here you're giving each customer their turn, but you're addressing each and every one. Here you're addressing each customer, only one customer at a time, and after that you're going to the next customer. So both basically so based on the research, they have identified that nearly 70 to 80% of the time you're going to save this one. So you're jumped ahead of the time. So this is the curriculum that we have. If you take up the training programs, so this Scrum One framework and other frameworks, we'll see the Scrum events, we'll see the games we'll do, and we'll see on the Agile tools and the introductions to various different Agile frameworks, and also we'll see on the basics of Agile tools and the different career paths in Agile. Agile and the Agile scaling, so that also we'll be seeing. So we'll take 1 minute. If you have any questions, we'll take it. Otherwise, we'll go to the next session. So if you have any questions, just you can put it in the chat window. Or I unmuted you. So just if you have any questions, just you can raise it. Raise the question by unmuting yourself. Any questions? Okay, so there are no questions, so we'll move to the next session.
Welcome all. Myself Suja. I'm going to give you an introduction on Jira Basics. So Jira is an project management tool. It is used for issue and bug tracking. And Jira is platform independent, so it can be used with any OS. Jira is developed by Atlassian, which is an Australian-based company. And Jira can be, it is a multilingual tool, so it can be used with any language like Spanish, French, English, Japanese, etc. And why we need to use Jira? So for what, who all uses Jira? So Jira is a software management tool where the software teams can track and organize their work. And Jira is it is customizable. It can be customized by the user and admin. And we have different type of Jira packages. And the first one is Jira Work Management, and we have Jira Software, we have Jira Service Management, Jira Align, and finally we have Jira Confluence. So Jira Work Management, where we can manage the business projects, and the Jira software we are using for tracking, planning, and releasing of software projects. And then we have Jira Service Management, which will be a bridge between the user and the agent. If user have any queries, they will ask through it, and it can be cleared through Jira Service Management by the agent. And we have Jira Align. So Jira Align is an enterprise agile planning solution for scaling agile practices. And finally, we have Jira Confluence. So Jira Confluence is it is used for project documentation, and Jira Confluence is also used for a collaboration of team members within them. They can share their knowledge to the Jira Confluence. And then we have these are the top features of Jira. The first one is project roadmap, and we have detailed reporting. It is time trackable, mobile application, and finally application security. So it has a project roadmap. We can enable and disable, and then it will give a n number of reports. We can generate different number of reports, and we can track our work progress through the reports, and it is time trackable. Since I told you earlier, it is platform independent, so it can be used with any OS. So it can be also used with mobile, and it gives application security to the users. So here are some of the features of Jira software. It gives a lot of project templates, business project templates, and we can easily track our issue. The life cycle of issue, it can be tracked very easily using this Jira software. And we have a benefit of notification. What we are any action we do in this Jira software, it will be replicated to our email ID. And then we have power search as a feature, so that is we can go for a quick search and find the required details through this power search option. And as I told you earlier, a lot of reports can be generated using this Jira software. And we have dashboards to which the gadgets can be added. And finally, we have boards. So in Jira, we have Kanban and Scrum boards through which we can visualize our work. A large particle of work can be segregated, and using that we can visualize. So that is about board. And here are two sample screenshot of Jira software. First one illustrates about the issue, and the second one illustrates about the active sprint. And here we have two more sample screenshot of Jira Align. First screenshot tells about the conference templates, and the second one is about the space. Now I will take you to the report. So here are three sample reports that were generated in the Jira software. The first one is about a pie chart, and second we have average age report, and the third one is the single level group by report. So now I will take you to the demo session. So this is the home page of Jira software. So here we have an option of application switcher. Now we are in Jira software. If you want to go for Jira work management, we can move. Or if you want to go for conference, you can also use this option, and we can move to the required Jira work management or conference. And here we have an option of your work. In this, we will find few options like assign to me and reason, and finally we have boards. And here we have projects. So in this project, we have two options. First one is of viewing all the project, and the second one is creating project. So we can create project through this option, and also we can directly go for this create project option, and we can create the project. And then we have the next option is filter. Using this filter, we can we can give some information, and we can get segregated our required information through this filter option. Then we have dashboards. Here we can view the dashboard, and also we can create dashboard using this dashboard option. And then we have people. Here we can invite a teammate, and also we can start a team. And then we have app. So app is nothing but we can add a new existing app to this Jira, and also we can find app from the Atlassian marketplace. So here we have a option of create. Using this create option, we can create any issues to the project. So that's about creating project. Now I will show you how to create a Jira software project. So when we go for these options, or when we go for this create project, it takes us to this window where we scroll down. If we scroll down, we will have a product option. Below that, we have Jira software, Jira service management, and Jira work management. Now we are going to create a Jira software project. So I will click Jira software. So then we need to decide whether it is a Kanban project or whether it is a Scrum or bug tracking. So now I'm going to create your Kanban. So I will go for this Kanban project. So once we click that, it will redirect us to this page. When we scroll down, we have an option of use template, right? We find in this bottom. So we need to go for this use template option. And we need to choose that whether it is a team managed project or it is a company managed project. So I'm going to go for this team managed project, and I have to give a name. So I will give any name to it. So once we give the name, the key will get automatically generated. So then we have to go for this create project option, which is found here. I'll go for this. So this is how we create a project in Jira software. So the project has been created successfully. So now I will take you to a project, and I will let you know the specification that a project has. So this is a Jira software project. This will be the view of a Jira software project. So first we have an option of backlog. In this backlog, we will have a prioritization of work. Based on the prioritization, the work will be get ordered. And in this side, we have an option of insight. So when we go for this insight option, the amount of work the project has been completed, we will get displayed. So how much percentage the work has been completed, we can able to see here. And here we have a three dot, right? In this top, we have a three dot option. So once we click that, it will show us these many settings. So we have to go for this board setting to create a roadmap. So I will go for this board setting. So it will take me to this page. So here I will have an option of enabling roadmap. So if you want to add roadmap to this project, you can enable that. If you don't want, you let it be in the disabled manner. So this is how we create a roadmap in Jira software project. And then see, now the roadmap has been added as a functionality for this project. And then we have active sprint. So active sprint, we have to do it in progress, review, and done. So how to make this task to move to in progress is just click that, and let just click that and drag that and keep there. So it will be moved to in progress. So after completion of that work, it should be reviewed. Take that to the review, and now it will be moved to the review section. So this is how you move the work items in the sprint. So here it will show the days that we have, again how many days we have, that we can see here. So this is about active sprint. And then we have reports. So when we click report, it will take us. So when we give this report, it will take us to this page. So we can see the chart. So this is about ban-up chart. So ban-up chart is nothing but it will show how much amount of work in this project has been completed. It shows that. So when we scroll down, we have certain details like date, event type, issue, and completed work. And finally, we have work scope. This is about ban-up chart. And then we have average age chart. So this chart shows the average number of days issues, where how many issues have been resolved. It shows that details in this box. And when we scroll down, we have a data table where we will have the same information in this data form. So this is about the average age report. And then we have PfD chart. So this chart status of issues over a period of time. So how many works are in to do, or how many in work in progress, and how many are in review, that we can able to see here. And in below we will have a overview of this CFP chart. This is about creating CFP chart. So likewise, you have several options. You can scroll down and you can see the required in chart or report. And here we have created best resolved issue report. So this shows the issues that were created and the issues that were resolved within 30 days. It will show that information for you. So when we scroll down, we have a data table. It shows how many has been created and how many has been resolved. We can able to see using this created with resolved issue report. And then we have pie chart. As you all know, it is a pictorial representation of data. So it will show how many is unassigned and assigned work, how many has been, for whom it is been assigned. Everything we can see using this pie chart report. And then we have a time tracking report. So it will be like how the issues of the current project we can able to see using this time tracking report. So next we have a user workload report. So a user who has how many assigned issue they have and how much workload do they have. So using this user workload report, we can create and we can see, we can view that. So I will show you now how to create issue. So we have an option here. So this menu will pop up when we click this create option, which is found in the top, right? We have to go for this create option. This menu will be pop up. So we need to give the issue summary, and first we have to select the issue type, and then before that we need to select the project. So I'm going to select a test Jira project, and we need to select whether it is task, story, bug, or epic. So now I'm going to create a task, and I have to give a summary. So I will give a summary name, and then I have to scroll down. We will see several options. Who is the reporter, and who is the assignee of this, and the priority that we need to give to this issue. Everything we have to select, and then finally give create. So this issue will be created successfully. This is how we create issue. So the issue we have created, we can able to see here, right? So this is how we create epic. Now how we create a subtask. So we can go for this create subtask option, and we can create subtask. You can give the name, and then you can go for this create option. Now that subtask has been created, and how we create a user story is in the same form. So you can select any one of the issue, and then we can go for this create issue in Epic, and then select whether it is a story, bug, or a task, and you can give the required what the work need to be done. You have to give that, and then go for save. It will be done. So this is how you create a demo. How you create a task, subtask, and story. So then we have certain options like now if you go for an issue, and now I will show how it displays the issue details, how we can see. I will show you. So here we have a issue, right? Conference room. So I will click that. So when we click that, we have a option of attach, where we can add attachment to it, and we have like creating subtask and related information we will have here. So here we can link a issue, and here we have to give the description about the issue, and then if any comment you have about this issue, yeah, you can tag someone, and you can give in this comment option. So in this side, you will see the assignee of this issue, and who by whom the issue has been reported, and the label, and you will have to give story points of this issue, and we have to link epic to this, and which sprint does it belong, and we have several options we have. So everything you can see here. This is how epic looks. So now I will show how to create dashboards in this Jira software. So it is as simple. So you have to go for this dashboard. We have an option of view all dashboard and create dashboard. we can directly create dashboard likewise, or also we can go for the view all dashboard option. And then now we see this create dashboard option, right? Now like this we can create dashboard. So I will show how a dashboard looks. So this I have already created. So this is how a dashboard looks. You can add gadget by going to this add gadget option. So when we click that add gadget option, it displays several options. So according to your wish, we can customize our dashboards by selecting the gadgets. So this is how we select the gadget, add gadget. And we have a option of changing layout. We can go for this option and change our layout. And then we have editing, deleting option in this corner. So this is about Jira software. Next, I will take you to the Jira Confluence. How we need to go is we have to go for this application switcher page, and we have to go for this Confluence, which will take us to this page. So this is the home page of Confluence. So here we have a home option which takes us to the home page of Confluence. Then we have recent, where we have visited, worked on, drafts option, and we have spaces where we can view the space, and also we can create space here. And then we have people option where we can invite and we can start a team. And same like Jira software, we have app where we can add existing app, and also we can find new app from the marketplace. And finally we have templates. So this is how a template page looks. So if we can, if you want this template to be used, you can go for this use template option, and it will be used by the page that you tag to that. And then how to create a page is not, it's very simple. We have a create option right in this top. You have to go for that, and you need to give a page title for that. So I will give as Jira. And then in this side you have several options for templates, choosing template. So you need to choose whatever template you want. I have chosen a template, and then you have to go for this publish option, which is found in this top. I'll go for that. So this is how you create a page to this Jira Confluence. So then I will show you some detailed information about the spaces. So here is a space which I have already created. I will show you how a space looks like. So here we have block space setting where you can do the setting this space, and then we have our add shortcut option. So where you can add a link and you can name the link by which the user and of your team can use that link and gain knowledge on it. And then we have pages option, right? So this display the pages that we have created. So I will show you a certain example. So I will show you a product requirement, right? So it will show the product requirement of that. So this is how it looks. And then we have like this, we have several options. So let us go randomly. I will show you this meeting notes. So you can do for the, you can go for this date and the participant in that meeting, and our goal, and what are the topic you are going to discuss, and the time will be mentioned. This is about spaces. So this is about the basic of Jira and Jira Basic. So if you have any doubt, clarification, feedback, you can tell me. I will clear you. Thank you. want, you can also tell your doubt or clarification through chat box.
You can raise your questions in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and you can ask. You yourself can unmute now, so you can unmute and ask your questions, or you can type your questions in the chat. The questions on the Jira software. Yeah, questions, any feedback, anything? So you can put your questions or feedbacks in the chat, or you can raise your question here itself. Okay, so if there are no questions, then we'll go to the next session. Thank you, Suja. So
Thank you, sir.
next we'll go for Azure DevOps.
Hi everyone. In this webinar, we are going to see about Azure DevOps, and then myself, Vimalkanna. And then these are the topics are covered in this webinar, such as Azure DevOps overview, Azure DevOps features, and then components and benefits of Azure DevOps. And finally, we are going to see the product demo. For the first one, we are going to see about Azure DevOps overview. Azure DevOps is a Microsoft product. It covers the entire development lifecycle of a software project. It is a software as a service platform from Microsoft. It provides an end-to-end DevOps tool for developing and deploying the software. Azure DevOps provides developer services for support teams to plan work, collaborate on code development, and build and deploy applications. It also integrates it with most leading tools on the market. And next one is Azure DevOps features. Azure DevOps provides many features to the users, such as dashboard controls, improved source control, plan and track your work, continuous integration and continuous deployment. ADO supports for manual and exploratory testings. And finally, we have integrated collaboration services. And the next one is a component of Azure DevOps. Azure DevOps is a modern DevOps tool for planning, developing, testing, and deploying the modern apps with optimized release cycle. ADO provides a good quality delivery of applications. Azure DevOps provides a tool which can help us to track the work progress of our software developing. And also Azure DevOps provides a tool to take the decision to deliver the good delivery of the software project. Azure DevOps services are not dependent on the cloud or a platform. Azure DevOps services are such as Azure Boards, Azure Repos, Azure Pipelines, Azure Test Plans, and Azure Artifacts. Now we are going to see the services of the Azure DevOps. For the first one, we are going to see the Azure Boards. In this Azure Boards, we can plan and track your work items across with our team members. In this Azure Boards, we can create work items like epics, user stories, bugs, defects like that. Here we can create many of the work items. By using these work items, we can track our work progress. And the next one is Azure Repos. Azure Repos is a service. It includes unlimited cloud hosted services. It provides us a private Git repository for our project. By using this Git repository, we can access all the Git clients, all the IDEs, all the editors to edit and deploy our code in our project. And next one is Azure Pipeline. Azure Pipeline is nothing but it is services to build and deploy a code automatically for our project. In this Azure Pipelines, we are using the continuous integration and continuous deployment that works with any language like Java, Python, PHP, .NET like that, and also it supports any platform and cloud. And next one is Azure Artifacts. Azure Artifacts is nothing but it just manages the dependencies which are used in the source code. The Azure Artifacts can host and share the packages like npm, NuGet, Maven from the public and private sources in the feed. And next one is Azure Test Plans. Azure Test Plans provides a manual and exploratory testing tools to successfully test our software applications. And next one is Azure DevOps benefits. Here we can access the developing the software applications, deploying the software, and then monitor the software progress like that. Here we have a bunch of interfaces in one ADO, in one software like ADO. We don't need to open another software to testing. We doesn't need to open another software to deploy our application like that. We don't have this clumsy things. And then Azure DevOps provides continuous integration and continuous delivery in pipeline service. Azure DevOps provides automation testing in Azure Test Plans. And then ADO supports any platform like Eclipse, Visual Studio, Android Studio like that. Also ADO supports any languages like Java, Python, PHP, .NET, C, C++, C Hash like that. It can support any of the languages. And finally, ADO provides us App Insights. App Insights is nothing but it used to track our live work progress of the software project. And next one is a demo. Now we are going to see the product demo. And then this is the product homepage, Azure DevOps homepage. Here we can see the list of projects are present here. While lowering the cursor, it shows some small icons. These are the services are implemented in this particular project. And also we can configure the services in this project. Like what are the services you want means you just add. If you don't want any of the services means you can remove it. By clicking on this new project, we can create a new project. Here you have to enter the name of the project, and then here you have to add the description about the project. Like here you can add some of the few words about the project demo ADO. Now I add just a few words, and then here you can select the visibility like public or private. I just select it on public and then click on create. It will be created within some time. Like this, it will be created and it will be shown here. In this, here you can see the project is created here. By clicking on this particular project, we can move into this particular project. Here we can see the summary of the particular project, and then here you can see the description about the project, and then in the right side here you can see the project statistics. In the statistics we can see the how many work items are created, how many work items are completed, like that. Here you can see it, and below that here you can see the who are the members are present in this project, like that. Here you can see. And this is the first service is boards. In this boards, we have a work items menu. In this work item menu, we can see the list of work items are previously created. Each and every work items consists of any unique IDs. These unique IDs are generated by a system. It will be unique for each and every work items. And also here you can see some of the different logos are here, and then each logo will represent some of the particular work items, like this book logo, it shows the user stories, and then this cone logo, it shows the epic, like that. By click on this epic, we can move into this epic. Here we can see the details. And then here we have to enter the title of the epic, and then this is the system generated unique ID. And then here we have to select a person who have to work in this particular work item, like that. Here we have to select, and then here we can add the tags, like this particular work item is related to application development or testing, or it is a bug, means here we can add these tags, like a development I added here, and then it is Android, like that, added here. And then here you can select the state of this particular work item, like newly created, or some of the persons are working in this particular work item, means it is inactive, like that. Here we can change it. And then in this area section, we have to select the location of this particular project, and then iteration of this particular project. And then in this description box, we can give some of the few words about this particular epic or work item, like that. Here we can give it. In this discussion box, here we can discuss about what are the updates or what are the requirements or we need to complete this particular work item, like that. Here we can discuss with our team members. And then in the planning box, here we have to assign the priority value. Like if you want to do this particular work item within a particular date, like it is most important, means here we can give the highest value. And also here we can give the risk, like it is most risky work item, or it's medium risk, like that, means here we can assign it. Also in this planning, we can assign the starting date and the ending date of this particular work item. And in this epic, we can check the history by clicking on this icon. We can check the history, what are the changes are done previously, like that. Here we can check it. If you want to add any of the other repository, or if you want to add any other work item with this work item, just click on this icon, and then here you can add it by using this add link. And then here you can check what are the attachments are added here, like if you want to add any of the attachments related to this work item, here we can see it. And then here we can follow this work item by clicking on this follow. And then if any changes are done, means we can save it. And then both work items, features, test plans, tasks are more or less equally. In this user stories, we can assign the story points to the user stories. And then by using this filter pop-up, we can, if you know the work item ID, means we can just type the work item ID like this. Otherwise, if you know the work item name, means you also type the work item name like this. Here we can see the filtered work items. And then if you want to see only the type of work item, like epic only, if you want to see only epic, means just click on this types epic. If you want to see features, means just click on this feature. If you don't want, means just clear everything. And then we have to see the boards. In this boards, we can see the 4 columns. These 4 columns are nothing but these are the stages, 4 different stages. This first stage is a new stage. Here you can see some of the work items are newly created here. If you want to create a new work item, just click on this new work item and then enter the title, and then edit the work item as previously I explained. If you are working in any of the work item which is newly presented, just drag and drop to active stage. It will be in active stage. We can work in this particular work item. If you completed this work item, just move to this active to resolved. It will be in the resolved state. Here we can check or update the any other requirements, like that. Here we can update it. After fully finished this work item, just move to the close. It will move to the closed state. This work item is completely finished, like that. Here we can assign it. Here we can see just only epic work items, because here we have a filter like which you want, like features or stories like that. Here we can change it. Now I just select the features. It will show the features or work items are present in this board. And then here you can see the analytics, like it shows the graphical view of this work item progress. Here we can see how many work items are created per day, how many work items are completed per day, like that. Here we can see it. And also here we have a filter to filter the work items, like how many days, like that. Here we can filter it by using this checkbox. You can see only closed, or if you want to see closed with resolved, means here we can modify it. And the next one is a backlog menu. Here we can see the list of work items are presented in this backlog menu. These are sorted in the order of like which work item is most important, like that. It will be sorted in that order. If you have any idea to assign these work items into the iterations, means just click on this view option. Here we have a planning. In this planning, we have the list of sprints which are already created. Here you can see this iteration 1, iteration 2, iteration 3. These are the sprint names. This iteration 1, iteration 2 are. If you want to add this particular user story to this any of these iterations, means just drag and drop to this particular iteration. It will be saved. Here the notification is give. And then in this iteration tile, here you can see the 24, 9, like that. Here we see the numbers. This just indicates that the 24 user stories are present in this particular iteration. 9 tasks are present in this particular iteration. 2 bugs are present in this particular iteration, like that. It will gives a short view of the iteration. And then here we can see the current status. This current status is nothing but it will just the lifetime of this work item is within the current date, so it shows the current date. If it is in past, means it shows the past status. And the next one is sprints. Previously, I explained the user stories consist of the task, bugs, like that. These are the tasks created within these user stories. And then here you can see the bug is created within this user stories. Here it is more or less same as the boards. Here you can see the list of iterations are present here. I previously explained the status about current, past, and future. If you want to create a new sprint, means just click on new sprint. Here you have to enter the name like sprint 4, like that. And then here you can select the starting date and ending date of the sprint. And then here you can select the location and then click on create. It will be created and shown here. Here you can see the sprint 4 is created and then the status is a future, like that. It will shows. And then coming to the backlog is previously I explained in this backlog menu. And then move on to the capacity. In this capacity, we can see the team members who are present in our team, and then some of the team members are very skilled in some activities like designing, developing, testing, like that. Some of them are more familiar. Here we can assign the activities, and then here we can assign the hours per day, like how many hours the person would work on this particular activity, like that. Here we can assign it. And then analytics is nothing but same as the boards. It shows a graphical view. And then next we have to see the queries. And then this is the previously created queries. Here we can see it. And then in the right side pane, here we can see the summary details about the queries, like name and then description about the queries, and then planning details about the queries, like that. Here we can see it. And then move to the editor. Here we have to give the condition. Query is nothing but it is another type of filter. Right? So here you have to give a condition for filtering the work items. And then after the condition is passed, just click on run query. It will execute and display the output here. Here you can see it. You have 2 query outputs. If you want to create a chart with the result of this output means we can create it, and then these are the charts are previously created here. If you want to create a new chart means just click on new chart, it pops a new window. Here in this left side box you can have different types of charts like pie bar, pie chart, column chart, like that. Here we can have, just select any one of the chart and then select a filter like which one you want, like area ID, like that, and then click on OK. It will be generated here, you can see it. If you want to configure means just click on these three dots, we can configure it and also we can delete it. And the next one is a delivery plans. Delivery plans is nothing but here you can assign the lifetime of the particular iteration, like that. Here you can see this particular iteration one is assigned from July to September. Within this particular lifetime we have to finish this work iterations, and in this iteration we have some work items like these epics. We have to complete these work items within the particular time. And also in delivery plan we have markers like this color, Agile, and then Agile boards. These are the markers which it represents the particular date we have to complete this work, like that. Here we have to enter it, and then this is a permanent marker, today's, it shows the today's date. And then here we can see some other teams are added in this particular delivery plan. And then if you want to see the previous or past means just drag this calendar to left and right. We can see the previous and past delivery plans. If you want to zoom in and zoom out means we can have these options to zoom in and zoom out. Just check it. If you want to configure any of the delivery plan, like if you don't want this marker means we can remove it by in the setting option. Just click on the setting. Here we can edit the name and description about the project. And then here we can adding the teams, removing the teams, that will be possible here. If you want to add any field criteria, I mean just click on this field criteria, we can add it. If you want to add or remove any of the marker means just click on here, it will be removed. If you want to add means just click on add marker, it will be added. And then coming to the next one, it is a fields. Here we can see what are the fields are showing, so need to show in this particular epics or a particular work items, like that. Here you have to select. If you want all of the fields means just click on all fields and then click on save. It will just and now we can see this all of the work items are showing the all fields, like that. Here you can see it, like what is the stage of this field and whom assigned to this field, like that. Here we can see it. And next one is a plans. Plans is nothing but both are similar to the delivery plans. Here we have a small difference, like zoom in and zoom out option. We have a sliding bar. We can slide this to zoom in and zoom out. And then next one is a test plans. Here we can test our software applications. It will provide some of the tools to test our software applications. And then here you can see some of the test cases are previously created. If you want to create a new test case means just to click on this new test case, it will be open a new window. Here we can enter the name, like previously I explained in this how to create a epic, like that. Both are more or less same. One small difference is here we have to enter the steps, what are the actions to be done in this test case, like that. Here we have to add it. And then for example, this is a previously created test case. Here we can see the name is added, and then it will generate a unique ID for system for this test case. And then here we can see the steps are added here. If you want to configure with these steps means we can use these options. And then here we can see the developments, what are the developments are added here, like that. Here we can see it. If you want to execute this test case means just click on this execute menu. Here we can run only one test case, or also if you want to run multiple test case means just click on multiple and then click on run for web application. It will run in your web application. If you don't want web application means just click on desktop application. We have to download this Azure test plan software and then click on launch. It will be launch the test plans, test cases. And then just now I click for run for web application. It pop-ups a new tab here. You can see it. Yeah, here we can see the steps are executed successfully. If the steps are executed successfully, means just change the status to pass test. If it rises any error, means it's just you can assign to fail status. Here we have to add a comment. What is the problem like that? Here we have to add and then click on save and close. It will be saved. Here you can see the test is passed, and here you can see some of the tests are failed. If you want to draw a chart, means just click on the chart. Here you can previously created a chart. It was as well as same as the queries chart. By click on this new, we can create a new test case charts based on the result and the test cases. And then here you can see the short view about the test plan, like the lifetime of the test plan, like July 28 to September 30, and then it shows the current status. And then here you can see how many percentage test cases are run, how many test cases are passed, like that. Here you can see it. If you want to see full view of report, means just click on the progress report. Here we can see it, how many days are some of the test cases are created, how many test cases are executed, how many test cases are passed, like that. Here we can check it by the progress report option in the graphical view. Here we can see it, and then next one is dashboards. The dashboard is nothing but it will show the whole project process. It will show in this dashboard in a graphical view. Here you can see what are the work items are assigned to this particular person, like that. Here we can see it. Here we have a burn down chart. This burn down chart is nothing but it shows how many work items are remaining to complete it, like that. Here it will show here. And then here we have a burn up chart. It is nothing but it shows how many work items are created in particular days, like that. Here we can see it, and then here we can see the cumulative flow diagram. And then next one is Azure repos. Azure repos is nothing but here we can integrate with the GitHub repository. By clicking on this down arrow, here we can manage those repositories, like creating a new sub repository or import any new repository, like that. Here we can manage it. And then here we have a Agile repository. It is a previously created repository. And then here you can see some of the files are created here. These are the source code. By clicking on the source code, it will show the programming code here. Here you can see it. If you want to edit, means just click on edit, we can edit it. If you want to see the histories, what are the histories of this particular programming code, here we can check in the history menu. And then next one is a compare. Here we can compare the two codes between the two codes. Here we can compare it, what are the differences are in these two codes, like that. Here we can compare it. And then in this repos menu, we have some of the commits, pushes, branches, menus, submenus. There is nothing but here we can add any of the branches, like that. Here we can add it. If you want to add any tag like developing, testing for the particular work items, here we can add the tags. And then next one is a pipelines. Pipeline is nothing but it will automatically create a code and then execute it for our project. Here we can see some of the pipelines are previously created. We just click on this particular pipeline. It will show the summary about the particular pipeline, like when the pipeline is executed, how much time it takes to execute, like that. Here we can see it, and then what is the status of the particular pipeline, like that. Here we can see it. If you want to create a new pipeline, just click on this new pipeline. Here we have to select our code. In this area, we have the Azure repos. We don't need to move on to any other interfaces. We have the Azure repos. In this Azure repos, we have a code like Agile. In this Agile project, we have a code. Here we can select configure your pipeline, like which platform we have to need, like that. Here we can select it, and then I just select one. Here we can see the sample program for this particular pipeline. If you want to edit, means we can edit it. If you just save and run, means just click on the save and run. Here you have to add the description about this pipeline and then click on save and run. It will be created a new pipeline and then it will be successfully executed. And then here you can see the summary about this particular pipeline. And then next one is Azure Artifacts. Azure Artifacts is nothing but it is a bunch of dependencies which are used in the source code. It shows dependencies which are used in the source code like that. It is some of the service of Azure DevOps. And then in this Azure Artifacts, we can connect with MAV and like that. Here we can connect the private sources. And then that's all about Azure DevOps product tour. Now we again go to the presentation.
Vimal?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. We have only 3 minutes left.
Yeah. Okay. And then finally, you can see the Azure Boards curriculum. Here we have some of the topics like Jira Basics and then Azure Boards. And then these other topics are covered in the training part. And then finally, we are here to establish our services and establish our workshops. What are we providing for our career growth? Here we can see it. And then for the first one, we can see the services what are providing in our organization, like consulting services, professional services, implementation services, like that. Some of the services are providing in our organization. And the next one is a workshop. Here we can provide a certification workshop for PMI and SAFE, and then here and also technology workshop for PPM, and then best practice workshop for PMI. If you have any doubts or clarification, just go through our website. In that website, we have a full detailed about workshops and services. And then that's all about Azure DevOps webinar. If you have any questions, kindly ask it in chat box or using mic.
Okay, if anyone has any question, you can just raise it. So you can unmute and you can ask, or you can put it in your chat too, so we'll be able to answer. Also, we have shared the feedback form in the chat, so if take time to fill out and submit it. And we saw that some missed because of some issues that we faced.